Buying a house is stressful enough, right? I'm gonna show you how to have the most successful mortgage transaction possible. Between finding a house, making offers, and then finally getting your offer accepted, the home buying process can be stressful, and I haven't even mentioned moving. So how can you have the most successful mortgage transaction possible? The most important thing to remember when getting a mortgage, whether you're working with me or another lender, is that the lender you've picked is your team, that we're here for you. You want to keep that in mind and remember that throughout the transaction. So I want to jump into some things that might make the transaction difficult, and I'll include some things you might want to do so that you have the smoothest transaction possible. If you're filling out that online application, try to be as accurate as possible and check your spelling. We don't want to be far along in the process and you notice that your name was spelled incorrectly or something like that. I'm going to assume you spelled your name correctly on the application. We're not going to change your name. We're going to go off exactly what you filled out on the application. Now, if that happened and you tell us immediately, no problem, we'll correct it, it's not a big deal. What you don't want to have happen is that you're far along in the process and you're at the closing table and you're like, wait, that's not how you spell my name. So you want to be as accurate as possible on that online application. Also truthful. Once you fill out that application, I always jump back on the phone with you a second time to confirm and go through the application as well as give you some numbers. And when we're talking and I ask about large deposits on a bank statement, be truthful about where it came from. Because once your file goes through underwriting, the truth is always going to come out. That includes the declarations page on the app. Have you had a bankruptcy? Are you in any federal debt? Do you pay child support? These are all going to come out during underwriting, and it's best to have them come out in the beginning before being pre-qualified. Another thing is reading disclosures. This is what is sent to you after there's been an accepted offer. Read them. Most people don't read their disclosures. They just don't. It's crazy, right? There's two parts of the disclosures that I think you need to read and understand. And there's the loan estimate and the application. Those two are super, super important. On the application, I want you to go through that with a fine-tooth comb and tell me anything that's wrong. And we'll update that on your final docs, right? So if your name is spelled wrong or something like that, I want to know right then. It's not good if we get, again, it's not good if we get to the closing table and we're far along in the process and that's when all this comes to light. Anything you want to correct, tell us as soon as possible. Now in the loan estimate, this is important too. It shows you the cost of the loan. It shows line item by line item, everything that is required in your closing costs, as well as your monthly payment. Now I always go through and give you your estimated monthly payment and estimated cash to close, but you're gonna wanna see that breakdown. I want you to know exactly what you're getting into. The next important thing is when a processor is asking you for documents, just get them to them as quickly as possible. They're not trying to be a pain or be difficult. My favorite clients upload them immediately and that's what they do, right? If they have questions on exactly what to send, they ask the processor or they ask me. Communication is gonna be so important throughout the entirety of the transaction. So we try and get the cleanest file together so the underwriter can look at it, approve it, get title work, and close. We're trying to put together and make this transaction as efficient as possible. Now, a few things not to do once you've signed your disclosures and you're moving forward, or really not to do once you've been pre-qualified. This can totally throw the transaction completely off the rails. Don't open any new credit cards, don't buy a new car, don't take on any new debt, please, please, please. Just don't take on any new debt. This can actually make it so you're no longer pre-qualified. Also, don't move money around. If you plan on transferring funds from one account to another, make sure you talk to your loan officer first before you do that. It can create more paperwork and more stuff the lender has to document, which means more headaches for you and the lender. Lastly, don't wait on getting your homeowner's insurance quote. Get that done right away. It's very simple. You can use whatever insurance company you want, but when you're ready to schedule, we don't want to be waiting on that being the last item, right? Get that done day one and right out of the way. So please remember that the lender is on your team. We are here for you. Communicate with them, ask questions. If they're requesting something, send it over as quick as you can, and don't do anything that can harm your finances like taking on any new debt. If you have any questions on the mortgage process, my contact information is at the end of this video.